Hey, welcome or welcome back. They taught us how to use a rubber chicken with a pulley, how to travel through time in a toilet, and how to fight pirates with insults. And they were LucasArts, the undisputed masters of the adventure game. And then they just stopped. Adventuring, that is. Let's revisit the golden age they created, perfected, and then mysteriously abandoned. Let's rewind to 1987, a simpler time when adventure games meant typing get key or open door over and over, hoping that the parser understood your intentions. Then along came Maniac Mansion, and LucasArts essentially dropped their creative atom bomb on the entire genre. Forget text parsers, Maniac Mansion introduced the revolutionary scam engine, a verb-based point-and-click interface that was so intuitive it felt like magic. Suddenly, you weren't fighting the game, you were playing it. What about its plot, you may wonder? Utterly bonkers, and in the best way possible. You play as Dave, whose girlfriend Sandy has been kidnapped by the mad scientist Dr. Fred. Along with a motley crew of friends, a punk rocker, a wisecracking nerd, and a fearless journalist and more, you infiltrate the titular Maniac Mansion to rescue her. Each character has unique abilities, and the non-linear gameplay, multiple endings and bizarre humor made it an instant classic. It wasn't just a game, it was a true cinematic experience that set the stage for everything that followed. Hot on the heels of Maniac Mansion, 1988 brought us McKracken and the alien Mindbenders. Odd-sounding title perhaps, but what a fantastic game! While it retained the beloved scam engine and quirky humor, McKracken took the adventure global and beyond. It expanded the adventuring scope dramatically, offering a much larger world to explore, from Earth's iconic landmarks to the surface of Mars. You play as Zack, a tabloid reporter who uncovers a sinister plot by aliens called the Caponians. They are slowly but surely dumbing down humanity using a massive stupidity machine. Along with three other characters, Annie, Melissa and Leslie, you travel the world and even into space, collecting artifacts, solving puzzles and trying to stop the alien invasion. It leaned heavily into sci-fi tropes, ancient mysteries and a healthy dose of satire, showing that LucasArts wasn't afraid to go big with their concepts while keeping the adventure mechanics smooth and engaging. No one could have expected what would happen in 1989, and it happened. LucasArts brought us an iconic hero in a brand new medium. Instead of a movie, we got a game. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the graphic adventure. And this wasn't just a movie tie-in. It was a masterful adaptation that perfectly captured the spirit of the film while offering unique gameplay challenges. LucasArts proved that they could take an existing beloved property and translate it flawlessly into the adventure gaming format, adding their own clever twists and humor. The game follows the plot of the movie fairly closely, with Indy searching for the Holy Grail and his missing father, Professor Henry Jones Sr. What made this game stand out was its clever integration of Indy quotient points, which encouraged players to find alternative solutions to puzzles, often involving brawling or using your wits in different ways. It made replayability a key factor, which was previously not that common in the genre, and gave players more agency than typical adventure games. It was a true cinematic experience. Yeah, expect to hear that statement often today, long before the term became commonplace in gaming, and a testament to LucasArts' ability to tell a story. In 1990, LucasArts took a bold leap with Loom, a game that redefined how we think about inventory and puzzle solving. Instead of collecting endless items, Loom introduced a revolutionary drafting system, using musical 4-note spell drafts played on a distaff. It was elegant, intuitive, and incredibly atmospheric, proving that adventure games didn't need to rely on traditional item-based puzzles to be engaging. It was also kinda overlooked and misunderstood, and only gained its cult classic status years after its original release. You play as Bobbin Threadbare, a young weaver who is banished from his guild, but soon finds himself entangled in a much larger mystery involving the Guild of Weavers and the fabric of reality itself. The story is deeply mythical and much darker than previous LucasArts titles, focusing on themes of destiny, sacrifice and the power of music. Yeah, the jokes and parody are not driving force in this one. Loom was a beautiful, melancholic masterpiece that showed LucasArts' willingness to experiment and push the boundaries of what an adventure game could be, offering a truly unique and artistic experience. It's a game I feel that every fan of point-and-clickers should try, but if you're new to the genre, start with something else, because this one's special and a great 4/5 game. Loom wasn't the only LucasArts point-and-clicker to drop in 1990. They also gave us arguably one of the most beloved adventure games of all time and definitely my personal favorite of the era, The Secret of Monkey Island. It was spearheaded by the legendary Ron Gilbert, Tim Schafer and Dave Grossman. It redefined humor, character and world-building in the genre by taking all of these concepts to the extreme. It was witty, self-aware and absolutely hilarious, establishing a benchmark for comedic writing that few games have matched since. You step into the boots of Guybrush Threepwood, a scrawny but determined young man who dreamed of becoming a mighty pirate. To do so, he must complete 3 terrifying trials, which inevitably lead him into a fantastical world of voodoo, ghost pirates, or a ghost pirate, namely the terrifying LeChuck, and the enigmatic, beautiful and in a way as quirky as Guybrush himself, Governor Elaine Marley. The dialogue was sharp, the puzzles were ingenious, even if sometimes absurd, and the characters were unforgettable. Monkey Island didn't just perfect the point-and-click formula, it infused it with an unparalleled charm and personality that made it timeless. Just a mere year later, in 1991, LucasArts delivered a sequel that somehow managed to be even better, Monkey Island 2: LeChuck's Revenge. This game took everything beloved about the original and cranked it up to 11. Maybe 12. The visuals were stunning, the puzzles were more intricate, and the humor reached new heights of absurdity and brilliance. It showcased LucasArts' ability to not just iterate, but to genuinely evolve their creations and cemented their position as an absolute masters of video game adventuring. Guybrush Threepwood is back, still trying to prove his pirating prowess, this time on a quest to find the legendary treasure of Big Whoop. Not a small or medium whoop, the big one. Of course, the undead pirate LeChuck also returns, more vengeful than ever, and things get delightfully complicated, involving voodoo dolls, a bizarre dinky island, and one of the most famously mind-bending endings in gaming history. The game's use of scale, detail and character animation was groundbreaking, and its legendary difficulty settings, including a fiendish hard mode, cemented its place as an adventure game titan.
What do you know?
1992 saw the return of everyone's favorite archaeologist in Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. This time not as a tie-in, but a completely original new story. I mean, it is often cited by the fans as the true fourth Indiana Jones adventure, and for good reason. Its plot is no worse than any of the 3 originals, and much better than any movies that released after. It felt authentically indie, while also innovating with its branching narrative paths, giving players a level of choice rarely seen in adventure games. Indy teams up with the enigmatic Sophia Hapgood, a former colleague and psychic, to uncover the secrets of the lost city of Atlantis and prevent the Nazis from harnessing its ancient power. What made Fate of Atlantis truly special were its 3 distinct paths: Wits, Fists and Team, each offering a different playstyle and puzzle set. You could choose to solve problems with clever thinking, good old-fashioned brawling, or by relying on Sophia's unique abilities. It was a massive undertaking that paid off, providing incredible replay value and a truly epic adventure. Okay, I'm gonna offend some of you with the wording here, but frankly I believe it, so I don't care. In 1993, the world was blessed with Day of the Tentacle, a sequel to Maniac Mansion that somehow managed to be even crazier and more innovative. And I don't only mean its predecessor, but all LucasArts' games to date. It perfected the concept of multi-character gameplay and introduced brilliant time travel mechanics that allowed for some of the most ingenious and laugh-out-loud puzzles ever conceived. It was a masterclass in comedic writing and clever design. And if you've never played it, now's a great time to fix that. The story kicks off when Purple Tentacle, one of Dr. Fred's creations, drinks toxic waste dripping out of the pipe sticking out of the back of the mansion. Then he develops arms, a thirst for world domination, and an evil genius. Yep, all three at once. It's up to Bernard, Hoagie and Laverne to travel through time, Bernard in the present, Hoagie 200 years in the past and Laverne 200 years in the future, to stop him. The genius lay in how characters in different time periods could affect each other's realities, leading to some incredibly clever and often bizarre puzzle solutions. Day of the Tentacle was visually distinctive, wildly imaginative, and cemented LucasArts' reputation for pushing creative boundaries.
Cheap mail-order jewels? What happened to Hope?
Later in 1993, LucasArts unleashed the anarchic duo of Sam and Max Hit the Road. Based on Steve Purcell's cult comic books, which sadly I've never had a chance to read myself, this game perfectly translated the chaotic and unique art style of the source material into an unforgettable adventure. Like I've said, I've not read those, but the game was ace, I can definitely attest to that. It was a riot from start to finish, showcasing LucasArts' versatility in adapting different comedic styles. You play as Sam, the trenchcoat-wearing dog detective, and his hyperkinetic psychopathic rabbit partner Max as they embark on the cross-country road trip to solve a mystery involving a missing Bigfoot and a carnival that's definitely not what it seems. The game was packed with surreal encounters, hilarious dialogue, and some truly bizarre locations, from a massive ball of twine to a roadside attraction called Gator Golf. Sam & Max was wild, unpredictable ride that demonstrated LucasArts could make a game that was as much cartoon as it was an adventure, with a distinct visual flair and unparalleled comedic timing.
Does it involve wanton destruction?
Oh man, I will never forget the intro and the first half an hour of 1995's Full Throttle. What a gem of cinematography. It just oozed cool and cinematic flair. It may have been a significant departure for LucasArts in terms of tone and presentation, embracing a more mature, gritty and action-oriented narrative, but it still retained the core adventure game mechanics. It felt like playing an interactive biker movie that didn't forget to include a mandatory kick button, and you actually used that kick a lot. With Full Throttle, LucasArts also progressed the genre again by evolving the interface into even more intuitive than before and not verb-based anymore. You play as Ben, the leader of the Polkat's biker gang, who is framed for murder and forced on the run after the Corley Motors CEO Malcolm Corley is killed. Ben must clear his name, reunite his gang, and uncover a corporate conspiracy. Full Throttle was notable for its stunning animation, a professional voice cast, including Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill as the villain Ripburger, and a rock and roll soundtrack that perfectly complemented its gritty aesthetic. It proved LucasArts could tackle more serious themes and deliver a high-octane narrative without sacrificing the clever puzzles and engaging storytelling they were known for.
If the shuttle is the last hope of the human race, then it'll have to do the job.
Despite becoming a commercial success, 1995's The Dig is somehow one of the most overlooked, obscure and forgotten of LucasArts' adventures, and I have no idea why. Perhaps because it was a more serious, epic and arguably more adult science fiction adventure, or perhaps because it was even more unique for LucasArts than their own games, as it was based on an original story concept by Steven Spielberg. Yeah, the E.T. guy, or indie guy, potato tomato. The Dig traded in usual LucasArts' humor for a profound, atmospheric and thought-provoking narrative about exploration, discovery and the human condition in the face of the unknown. The story begins with a team of astronauts led by Commander Boston Lowe sent to deflect an asteroid on a collision course with Earth. So you know, your typical Armageddon the movie scenario. However, once on the asteroid, they discover it's an alien spacecraft that transports them to a desolate alien world before they can react and prevent it. Stranded and alone, they must uncover the secrets of this ancient civilization to find a way home. The Dig was known for its gorgeous pixel-perfect graphics, beautiful animations, and a haunting, orchestral score by Michael Land and its challenging logical puzzles. Yeah, I said logical. I know, right? It showcased LucasArts' range and ability to tell a compelling story even without the laughs.
That I was the only man you ever loved?
Well, yes, Guy,
1997 brought us the triumphant return of Guybrush Threepwood in The Curse of Monkey Island. And after a 6-year hiatus, the series came back with a stunning new visual style, hand-drawn, cartoon-like animation that was vibrant and expressive, and refined gameplay that made it feel both fresh and familiar. It was a beautiful evolution of the series and a title most of us waiting for eagerly. I know I have.
Oh, Wally? You're alive!
Guybrush accidentally turns his beloved Elaine into a golden statue with a cursed engagement ring stolen from LeChuck, and he must embark on another swashbuckling adventure to break the curse. This involves sailing the high seas, battling ghost pirates, including his newly corporeal archvillain LeChuck, and engaging in hilarious insult sword fighting once again. The game was a visual feast packed with memorable characters, ingenious even if often absurd puzzles, and the sharp, witty dialogue that fans had come to adore. Curse was a perfect blend of nostalgia and innovation, proving that Monkey Island formula still had plenty of life. "1998 delivered Grim Fandango, a masterpiece that pushed the boundaries of adventure games into a truly cinematic and artistic realm. This game, led by Tim Schafer, seamlessly blended film noir aesthetics with Mexican folklore, specifically the traditional Day of the Dead, to create a unique and unforgettable world. What's more, its plot is told in a very unusual way. It's split into 4 acts covering 4 consecutive years, always taking place on the same day. It was a critical darling and remains one of the most beloved and visually striking adventure games ever made. You play as Manny Calavera, a travel agent for the recently deceased in the Land of the Dead, helping souls make their 4-year journey to the 9th Underworld. Manny uncovers a conspiracy that threatens the afterlife itself and embarks on a noir-style detective story filled with unforgettable characters, witty dialogue and incredibly creative puzzles. Grim Fandango was LucasArts' first game to use 3D characters on pre-rendered backgrounds, creating a stunning visual style that still holds up today. It was a poignant, funny and deeply intelligent game that showed the emotional depth adventure games could achieve. Finally, in 2000, we got Escape from the Monkey Island, the 4th installment in the beloved series. It was perhaps not as popular as the earlier ones for some reason, but it wasn't any worse. It moved the series into full 3D environments, building on the visual advancements of the Grim Fandango, while still retaining the classic Monkey Island charm and humor. It was a grand adventure that sadly marked the end of LucasArts' golden age of adventure games. It was their last, their goodbye, and the end of an era. In their last classic voyage, Guybrush and Elaine returned from the honeymoon, only to find that Elaine has been declared legally dead and her governship is up for grabs. They uncover a plot by the evil Australian developer Ozymandias and the formidable LeChuck to take over the Caribbean using a mind-controlling ultimate insult. The game introduced monkey combat, a new insult system, and was packed with series' signature wit and bizarre characters. While the move to 3D and tank controls was met with mixed reactions, it was still a fitting, if bittersweet, swan song for LucasArts' legendary adventure game library. And just like that, the golden era of LucasArts' adventure games came to an end. They didn't just make games, they crafted experiences, evolved and perfected a genre more than once, and delivered some of the most memorable stories and characters in gaming history. From Scum to 3D, from witty pirates to Grim Reapers, they redefined what an adventure game could be, leaving an incredible mark on gaming and yours truly forever. What are your most fond memories of their games? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash all 3 like, sub and bell icons down below. Believe me, it helps more than you know. Thanks a lot for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.
LeChuck! LeChuck! At your service.